This episode has been brought to you by Subject to Change Customs. Choose Subject to Change for all your custom apparel and promotional product needs. Follow them on all social media at S2C LLC and get your 4 times dope merch on their website. That's www.shops2c.com.
Yeah, we in the building. 4 times dope. Yeah, we known to get it live, man. 4 times dope. New level, keep it high, yeah. 4 times dope. Mic check, now we on it, we live.
Oh my God, I'm so tired and hungry, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Whew.
Tired, crazy, hungry, all that.
Yeah, man, I just been on a 2-hour meeting with Treasury meeting for NCCU. So yeah.
Alumni Association DC chapter.
Yes.
Saw that email too.
I just got off and I came straight here. All right. So what we doing? How y'all
Trials
doing?
and tribulations.
Doing good.
Hey,
man.
Nash.
Hey, Kashara.
What's
How are
good? I'm good. How about you?
Good. I told the guys I'm a little nervous, but I'm good. I'm good. Sit right down.
Yeah, I think if she was about to go into she think we brutal.
Oh,
That's
really?
right.
Okay, yeah,
You're brutal.
please expound.
No, I'm gonna exclude 2 of y'all.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jermaine, she got to be talking about us.
Already know. JJ.
She's comfortable with the blue file over there.
I
And
ain't even like that.
that's what I was thinking, but I ain't want to say it. Jamie, you just
I got to say it.
exactly what I was thinking.
No, it ain't
I
got,
got to say
nothing to
it.
do with it. It ain't got
All
nothing.
all gamma, everything.
Yeah.
I've been know all of y'all I know all of y'all at the same time. So
Yes.
All the time. That's right.
Fret and all that. So I got some things to say, but we're gonna get into our questions.
Okay.
She ready there.
Hey, that's what we like. That's what we like. Guess,
Okay.
guess who's ready?
Jump right on in.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
With the
let's
show.
not belabor the point. Do you want me to run point on this? Ooh.
Well, I mean, we can catch up with like what's been going on, everybody. Before we just jump on in.
Okay, well, let me start by my daughter is a worker now, and I had all kinds of problems with it, but kids want to work and see shit and get money. So she is a ice cream server at Goodberries, and it's tearing our ass apart, boy.
How long she been working there?
This is week 2, but she likes the job, but it's before work and after work that's tearing her to pieces, which is
Right.
you got to be prepared. You got to get your shirt ready, pants ready. She up there with a shoestring around for a belt. I said, come on now. You got to be prepared. And if you come home from work and you're 15, you still got to unwind.
Mhm.
And, you can't come down from work. You got to come down, but then you got to go back to sleep to get up to go to school.
That's
All
right.
now. This is a lesson in decisions. Is this what you want to do? I'm gonna show you. So I was against it. Her mom was like, you let her see it. I'm like, yo, she's seeing it now. Her ass is sleepy and tired. Just got home now.
I mean, hey, she didn't get one paycheck yet, have she?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Don't you gotta work at home 3 weeks?
Oh.
How does that go?
Gotta work that week in a hole.
No,
A week.
Holy tough.
So she
Yeah,
get
trials
paid
and
at the end of next
tribulations.
week?
yeah,
Does
she should get a pay. She gets paid next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And gonna ball out with them $300.
Right.
Pretty hard for it. Shoot. That saving $300 be $150 our time back when we was
Right.
in college.
Oh yeah.
And that's a lot of money.
Because I know I was working for like $425 back in high school. That's
Right.
Yeah,
My
slave
God.
labor.
I'm not saying crazy to think about it back then, how much we used to work for.
Yes, I remember my paycheck being $5.25. I'm like, I am fucking balling. Dollar bill.
You can't get a combo meal at Burger King for that amount now. I just think that's
No, you
crazy.
can't even do it.
Right.
That's an hour of your life gone for a bad hamburger. Kwame, what's good with you? What's new?
Oh, with me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I hear. Oh yeah, man. Just recently recovered over the vid.
Oh yeah, we had COVID too.
Yeah, we did too.
That junk is crazy. So no, I feel straight now though. But like, yeah,
Okay.
right after Christmas. So I was like,
Yeah.
yo, I had a constant headache for like the first day and a half, and lost my taste and body aches. Like the first day and a half, 2 days, it was kind of, and then after that, it was I was all right, just a little cold congestion, but I was just isolating and trying to do all that. So it was a whole lot. And hearing my son running around, I ain't see him for about 5 or 6 days on video. He's calling for me constant. I'm hearing him calling my name and asking where I'm at. And I'm
Where
just,
are you?
yeah. And so so that was kind of tough being in the same house and trying to isolate from them. But I feel like I'm straight now. I mean, I took a test and home test, it came back negative. And I'm waiting. I took another test and wait for the PCR to come back just to make sure, just to kind of double check. But yeah, I feel fine.
Jermaine, what's good?
So I've just been, man, staying busy. Well, staying productive. I stopped saying busy. I'm trying to stop saying busy. Just staying productive. I actually a few days ago, I flew into North Carolina. I had to give a implicit bias training at Barton College here. So I did that with my mask on. So I'm at my mother's now, and this chick is just nonstop. She just talks to me. I was my talking. So I'm leaving. What's tomorrow? I'm leaving Friday. Going back home, back to DMV on Friday. But everything's good, man. Just staying focused and getting my mind right. They're pushing us back on campus. The university is saying we need to be back on campus in the classroom. So listen, at American University.
I know where, by what date? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my bad. 17.
Damn. That's
okay. That's
okay.
Well, Monday. Okay, 17th or February 17th?
January 17th.
Oh,
January.
Yeah, MLK Day.
Yeah.
Right. But it's crazy because we had a faculty meeting today. It was like 70 of us in the meeting, but we can't meet. Faculty can't meet, but we can lecture, right? Anyway, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all good. But other than that, I'm just, hey, look, I'm excited about 2022, man, and I'm super excited about it, right? So got some stuff coming up and working on.
Yeah. Okay. Kasharo.
I'm
2 hours in the meeting.
Yeah, outside of that, I'm good. We did our little Christmas tour for Christmas, hit up Durham and then went to Winston to see family, and that was good. Came back a couple of days later, we found out somebody said, "Oh, I was exposed to COVID." That was like, today's Thursday, but you found out on Tuesday. You just now telling us. So we all had to get tested, of course. And thank God nobody, tested positive. We took like 2 tests to make sure we're good. So we're good at that. Then dealing with this snowstorm that hit us, then kids had an extra week out of school, which threw
the snowstorm on 95.
Right. Yeah, which was horrible. But it was cool. Like, we just chilling. All I've been doing really is just focusing on my licensure test to get this counseling license. Like, that's my goal for 2022. Like, I got to get that license because it's too much money out here to be made, and I'm trying to make it. So, and
save people with your skill set.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all I've been doing, really. And
okay.
Getting ready to turn 45. I'm excited about
45.
That.
Colt 45. Hi, Billy D.
I know, right? Nigel, read about you, the guest of the hour. Now, what's been going on with you?
Well, same thing. My daughter, my 13-year-old, she's here, and school's been out. And
now, where are you located in the country?
I am now in Owens Mills, Maryland. I live in Maryland.
Okay. And you moved from North Carolina?
Yep, I moved from Durham in July.
Okay.
I had been kind of preparing for my move for about a year and a half and was trying to figure out, it's a long story on how I got to Owens Mills, but we're here, and I got my girls, they actually was here for Christmas, and thank God they came for Christmas because we wound up getting COVID together. My oldest daughter, she had already had it in February, so she knew all the remedies and all the things to do. Right. She wasn't as bad off as we were. But I was really blessed just to have all of us here because it's just really just me and my 13-year-old. I don't have any family here. I just, I picked up and took a chance on coming this way. And Kasharo knows I've been trying to get to this, like the DMV area for a while. And my daughter got accepted to a dance school out here. So I have one in college at UNC Charlotte, one who's in Florida working. And I just decided that I needed to change, so I moved.
Wow. How you? This is in
Winston
Baltimore
Hill.
County.
Yeah, so I used to work back in 2002. I worked in Towson, Maryland.
Mhm.
I did. So I told my daughter to pick a dance school between DC and Baltimore because her goal was to go to Baltimore School of the Arts.
Mhm.
And she's
Okay.
a competitive dancer, and she got accepted to this school, Maryland Academy of Dance. And
Okay.
then so I just everything kind of lined up.
Right.
And I work remote. So I got here,
You
and
could
then
be
I
anywhere.
had a coworker. Excuse me.
You could be anywhere.
Yeah, you could be
That's
anywhere.
dope.
That's the best thing. But I got here, and then a coworker of mine contacted me from my previous job. He's a director at an organization, and he contacted me. He knew I relocated, so he was like, "Hey, you interested in something? I got something for you." And the job is like I told Kasharo, it's like 11 minutes from my house.
Oh, that's a beauty. That's
So
a
it
And
was
that's
great-
after you moved.
that was after I picked up.
Yes, that's the blessing.
That's the blessing.
God,
God,
where that
Tony.
close to where your job is. I'll tell you.
Yeah, and I'm still remote actually. I just have centers in this central area in New Jersey and Delaware, Baltimore, here in Frederick. So it was a blessing, and it was a good increase.
Right.
Oh, that's
Word up.
Yes, that was it.
Boy, that's what's up.
Thank you.
Word up.
A little lonely, but I'm here.
All right. Cool. Sarah.
All right. Yes. So, first topic of the evening is when it comes to dating advice. So, what
I think before you go, Kashar, we need to
Yes.
formally introduce Najee.
Yeah,
Oh.
real talk.
She needs a formal introduction. Like, how do we know her?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
They don't know.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
All right. So, we have one of our day ones of the 4 Times Dope podcast with us tonight. Our day one Quattros, Miss Najee. She's also an NCCU alum.
Gang
She
signs,
is
man.
also
Quattro.
our soror, me and Kwame soror of Zeta Phi Beta.
Founders Day alert coming up.
Exactly. All blue five. Stop.
Definitely. And she is also a wonderful mom who is a very, very, very supportive mom. And she's out here doing it. And that's one of the many qualities that I like about her, love about her actually. So
Thank
Najee,
you.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome. Man. Happy to have you.
All right.
Exactly.
Dive in, my G.
All right. So yeah, when it comes to dating advice, lady and gentlemen, what advice would you give a 20-year-old person, someone who's in their 20s now? What type of dating advice would you give them now, being mature, seasoned, and mature? We're all in our 40s.
Mhm.
What advice would you give a 20-year-old now in regards to dating? Najee, we'll start with you since you're the guest.
Yeah. All right. Well, luckily, I have an 18-year-old and I have a 22-year-old.
20-something, yeah. Mhm.
His daughter is 22. And what I basically tell her, even my 18-year-old, she's been with her boyfriend for 2 years now. But what I tell them is just to remember your mind, body, soul, and spirit. I basically, just make sure that he is
Mhm.
not just tapping into your body. He's
Right.
tapping into your mind, soul, and spirit, as well as other places to go, other entities to tap into. That's to me, that's important. And then don't talk too much. Like, let him talk.
Nick.
Don't let him talk. Don't, remember, just to hold some of that shit in. You know what I'm saying? Let him talk.
Oh
Don't,
my God.
sit there, and that's something that you don't learn
Mhm.
until I think maybe 27, 28,
Okay.
29. When you get a little older, you kind of got to divulge a little bit more. Life has happened. But to
Right.
be honest with you, it's like, you got so much more to happen. Don't let anybody define you from 20, like,
Yeah.
don't let nobody define, right there. That person is thinking on the other end, like, that's too much. Like,
It is.
let the dude talk, or let the female talk, let them talk, give them some time to, divulge some stuff, and spread spread some of it out. You know what I'm saying? Hold some of it in, because a lot may have happened, but a lot is coming. You know, so that's pretty much my advice.
Yeah, that's good advice. Even when you
That's
said
very good
about
advice.
let them talk, like so you learn a whole lot from just listening. You don't
Right,
gotta
just
say a
listen.
word, you know what I mean?
Right.
And listening and watching, you know, you can those two things you'll
Right.
can learn a whole lot. So that's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah, like that. All right, JP, what you got?
At 20, date all day and night. You know, don't think that you're gonna marry your sweetheart. It's just not common, and you're trying to follow something that's really not. It's fucking hard to do. First of all, it's just fucking hard
And the
because
rules
you're
change,
growing up with that
JB.
person.
And
Huh?
I bet, and the rules changed from when grandma and them was coming through. So grandma
Certainly
and them,
change.
right?
Yeah, she's not.
Expectations change.
She got just as much power. She got way more power than I ever would have. So don't think that she gonna stay the same. The other thing is get your passport and travel, see other girls, see other men, and learn another language. Get out there, have good sex. Stop waiting to be what do you call those? Fucking virgin. Get the fuck out of here. Get that shit. Get that over with. Because you don't want to get traumatized at 25 talking about I'm a virgin. You done blew it. You done wasted a good shit. If you having sex at 18, good. You got something going. But nobody wants to say that. It has to be, get it out of the way, because you saving it up for nothing. Because that nigga don't know what he doing on the other end. If you're a virgin, like, I don't want no parts of that. Get that over with.
But yeah,
So-
I'm about to say, people don't talk about, like, people won't talk about like nobody really at a certain age really want to date a virgin. Like, I don't
want no
you know,
parts of
you
it.
want some experience that they're coming into. I mean, unless you really want to do a lot of teaching. Maybe that age it might be a little cool, but when they get older, I'm like,
Get the fuck out of here.
you want to be a virgin
not
and be
my
a freak?
favorite
Like,
show.
come on, that's not even gonna work.
My wife and our favorite show is Marriage. Was it Marriage at First Sight or something like that?
Uh-huh.
And one of the seasons, the girl was in Charlotte, and her first thing was, I'm a virgin. She led with that.
That's
And
interesting.
even at the wedding, she told the boy's mom, "Oh, I'm a virgin." And the mom went to the son like, "Look, she a virgin. I don't know if you want this."
I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember that
They did not make it. I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
She was talking about it the whole time, and back
The
in his
entire
mind,
time.
he was like, "Yo, like,
It's her identity.
I don't think that because she led with that, she led
She
with that, and
led
that
with
was,
it everywhere,
and that's all she talked
across
about.
the board.
So he
And
was
see,
just
that's not like
yo.
I can't cook. I don't know my
Right.
way in the kitchen. That's a whole different
And
dynamic.
I'm proud of it, and I'm not going to change it until I feel like it.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Get that out of the way.
Yeah, they didn't get married either. He was like,
he was like, I don't want no. He figured it
Yeah.
out. I don't want to be around her, because once this happens, she loses all of her value in her mind, not my mind, her mind. She thinks she's worthless now because she's had sex with her husband. Anyway, get that out of the way, in my opinion, and have fun. Like, genuinely have fun. Talk to your person, but watch their family too. That shit matters. The family.
That's good over there.
But on the other hand, it's like once she has sex, if she is a virgin, I mean, the
Mhm.
thing is, she might want to start exploring, this is.
She
this-
should
this
go.
is-
She has power to go.
Yeah. It's like,
Nobody gets the girl. What I don't
yeah,
appreciate in these stories is that if she has sex, she's automatically less than. How? How did she end up being the bad person?
yeah.
But
She
Jamie,
was there too.
I think part of that is it's just like what girls are taught, right?
Morals.
They're conditioned to think X, Y, Z,
Yeah.
especially when they're going off into like these vast environments such as college and stuff like that, right?
Right.
I mean, even some of like the most, the chicks we met who probably kind of been a little bit fierce in that area, but they still had some values. They probably melted off, but they still were
Yeah.
conditioned to believe
figured
as
that
a
was
young
bullshit.
girl. Right. So that's what we're combating too, right? What they thought or whatever the case may be. Not that it's wrong. I'm just saying, I think that's part of it.
Right.
Mm.
I ain't telling you to be that free, but allow
Right.
yourself to enjoy your life, because you don't want to look back at 20 and say, I should have, and now I'm mad at myself.
No,
No
you're bound out
regrets.
at 40 now because you've been holding in when you was 20.
And I don't want no parts of it. I'm too tired.
And now you want to be out. Oh, no, I'm good.
Now that pussy, Bloom off the rose, nigga. Bloom gone off rose.
So stupid.
Got miles on it, man.
Well, she don't. She be
No, she want to put miles on it.
Oh,
So this is a perfect example. Y'all
Mhm.
always talk about it from that female perspective, but what about the dude? You know what I'm saying? Same difference. What if he was a virgin? You know what
He's
I'm
a
saying?
sucker. He should have been into it. What are you waiting on? Let's go. That's a sucker. What you waiting on, my dog? Let's get to it. You got to get the stuff going so you could be. I need to know. It's a sample size. Do I want to be with this person? You got to have a baseline. If you don't get a baseline till 30, you wasted a bunch of time trying to find the wrong thing. You thinking you want, this one thing, but you want something else because you never tasted or tested the waters.
Yeah.
And Jamie, I get what you're saying. You're not saying like you want somebody, male or female, to make a whole bunch of bad decisions, but you also saying you got to live life and you learn through experiences, whether it's a wrong decision or a good decision. So it's like having that happy medium. If you like some person, you being safe and you being responsible, and you decide something you want to do, that's fine. If you don't want to do it, that's fine too.
It's real life.
But a lot of times women get shamed for this, kind of like,
and that's what I have a problem with. I don't believe that should be true.
But that's the fucked up part about our culture now. Now watch this. Now it's a double-edged sword, and here I got to stand 10 toes down for the ladies, because as men, from even from literature to TV to rap music, we already have a distorted perception of what a woman should be doing at 20, and pretty much outside of being a woman, what we perceive them to be, right? And a lot of it has to do with sexuality. So you see what I'm saying? And our hormones are raising around that age. So we're really not helping the situation, honestly, at 20 years old, because we don't see women at 20 as the same way we do at 40. But what I am saying is, and this is, I'm gonna talk about this in a second when I start talking, but
you can go ahead.
No, Jamie, finish up.
I was done.
Oh, because I definitely didn't want to cut your point.
No, I was done.
Okay, so I guess the question is, what would I tell my 20-year-old self?
Yeah,
20-something.
What would you tell a 20-year-old now?
So I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna start here. And I would tell specifically 20-year-old Black boys coming from single parent homes, because that plays a huge role in this whole shit.
Most definitely.
We don't have anybody to exemplify at 20 what everything Jamie just said. So we're figuring it out, right? I mean, I have older brothers who did what they could, but I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. And Kasharo, you guys know my background. I come from the men that I came around. They had women and money, so I'm cut from that cloth. So in my mind, multiple girlfriends at 20 years old was a thing to do.
Yeah.
But in my 20-year-old mind, but it was reckless. It was time consuming, for one, right? So I would tell a 20-year-old it's okay to become or to mimic, go out, think outside the box, get outside the box, and break away from your old archaic customs and norms. Because that's part of the learning process, learning that you don't have to carry on that tradition, right? The other thing I would tell a 20-year-old something Black boy coming, not even just coming from single parent home, but 20 something, is you don't have to burn yourself to keep somebody else warm. Like, if you don't want to do something, don't do it. If you don't have to stay in a relationship because of sex, you think the sex is good, or you don't have to stay in a relationship because she's putting pressure on you, or you don't have to marry her or have kids until you're ready to make that jump. I think a lot of times at 20, and again, I think a lot of it has to do with our introductory backgrounds. Like, depending on what we've been exposed to when we hit 20, depending on what we've been exposed to, I believe it kind of dictates the path unless we meet some, great mentor or something like that. But it dictates that path. I know for me, like I said, when I got to NCCU, 18 years old, I had already been exposed to Central because my sister was there. She was an AKA. She went to Central, but all I knew was women in sports. Well, that's what was on my mind. Women in sports, not even academics, right? It didn't hit me academically till like my junior year. That's when I started, kicking ass academically. But my point is, I would tell myself, man, listen, it's okay to be you, be different. It's okay not to have sex at 20. You need to, between 20 and 25, you need to be figuring it out, though, right? It's okay to kind of start to try to understand yourself more, right? And understand what you like sexually. Between 20 and 25, you should kind of have a direction of sexually what you want, what you don't want.
Yeah, you don't want to waste that time.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I mean, just sorry.
Go ahead, Najee. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say just what Jermaine saying about going being at Central. For me, coming into Central, I was 17 going on 18, and I came in having a significant other, meeting someone and dating them early on. There were pros and cons to that because there were things that I did not get a chance to experience being in that relationship that I missed out on that my girlfriends did, you know, had an opportunity. And I'm not saying sexually, I'm just talking about being in a relationship where, you know, versus not being in a relationship and not being able to experience more so dating different people, getting to know different people now at this college level. And my mom being used to dating a certain type of dude, or in high school was different from college. So coming into school, that's why when my daughter went to A&T, I was just like, she was dating somebody and I was just like, look, you know, that I'm not sure if this is what you want, because you're going to kind of, you know, shorten your experience as far as meeting new people, learning about different backgrounds and kind of different things like that. So let's chill for a minute before, you know what I'm saying, you guys decide, because he was going to Hampton and it was just a whole situation. And I was like,
that's not
nah,
close.
y'all don't want to do this.
No, you don't.
I mean, it was pros because there are some things that did happen, you know, to a few folks that was there, a few of my girlfriends and things like that, that I probably didn't want to happen to me because I had a boyfriend. But there were some things that I missed out on, you know what I'm saying? And I just think being free at that age, especially coming into school, you know what I'm saying? You don't want that. You want to be open and be able to explore.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't want to. It's not my point here, but I wanted to piggyback. I guess what Jimmy you said about the virgin part, it kind of triggered something, because I actually thought about a situation when I was at Central, and Josh was dating. Well, not dating. We're trying to like talk to this one girl, and you know how she got a friend type deal. So the friend was cool, whatever and stuff. But I think she was feeling me way more than I was kind of feeling her. Like, I mean, I liked her as a friend, but I think she liked me like a little bit more. And I know I didn't really want that. And I remember we was, you know, trying to kind of messing around, so I'm trying to, you know, trying to take it home. And every time I kept trying to take it home, she kept like, you know, withdrawing and everything. I'm like, yo, what's up? Eventually, long story short, she ended up like kind of upset, but she was saying she was a virgin. And I was like, oh, you know what I mean? But I could tell that, I can tell, but I think she would have been down if I wanted to. But once I heard that, I was just like, yo, in my mind,
I don't want to be held. I
don't want to be the guy that take that way from me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I don't, you know, we cool as friends, but I didn't want nothing serious. And I think that
she wants
somebody that you would want to, you know, cross that path. It shouldn't be me. And I knew that, you know what I'm saying? At that moment.
Right.
Start for Kwame.
Hey, he's such a good guy.
I mean, yeah, I just my conscience kicked in on that point right there.
I ain't got no conscience.
See, you got one.
You need to get it out of it.
Now she'd be on the block. I'd have been might be a little different, but because she didn't, I was like, well, yo, it's cool. And I could tell it was, you know, a serious thing for her. But I guess that kind of jogged my memory in regards to talking about that. But I don't know if it's my go or not, Kashara or not, but
yeah, go.
Yeah, but if I had a device that I had to get, I'll say 20-something years old person. And I'm thinking more in the terms as a young adult, like you kind of out of school, but kind of like finding your first job, or kind of like just living on your own for the first time outside of college setting. My recommendation would probably be pretty much don't date nobody that you actually work with or live near you. Like where to the point where y'all got that close proximity right there and it doesn't work out. Now you have to see them at work, or now you have to go see them, you know, in your apartment building or at the gym and stuff like that. I just think that I would be like, stay away from that situation, whatever and stuff, because if it goes bad, that person lives or you'll run that person so closely, you know. So that would be my number one you know, I guess advice I would give a 20-something-year-old, whatever. So I mean, a lot of people look at assets, but sometimes assets ain't always
it can be denied.
That's true.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that would be my number one thing. Ain't nothing too deep, but that would be my advice.
Kasharo.
No, you said number one, like there was 2 and 3.
He did. He left.
Word. Well, that would be the one I would give.
That would be one piece of advice.
Keep it
separated.
Right. for me, like it's funny because everything each one of y'all said, I could piggyback off of it. And I guess George Jamie hit first because you were talking about, you know, in your 20s, like don't think you're gonna end up marrying your sweetheart or be with your sweetheart. And I did. So that my situation was more of an idealistic situation, which people don't think or do that anymore. And I did. I won't necessarily say it's a bad thing, but what I will say is if you're in your 20s, take your time. Make sure that you do what you want to do. And I think Jermaine has just said a few minutes ago, do what it is you want to do in your 20s. This isn't me, but I know a lot of people who are in this situation now. Like, don't let somebody else dictate your life for you. Just because they want you and they want to be with you, don't mean you're supposed to be with them.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to date and kick it and do all that, cool, but don't let somebody tell you, oh, you know you're gonna be with me, right? And then you do it, and then you stuck for whatever reason, and you go all years, and now you unhappy, you know, with that situation. So if you're in your 20s, do what you want to do for you. Go out and date and do your thing. You know, like I said, get that experience under your belt. I would say, like for me, kind of like Najee, like I didn't come into Central with a relationship, but my second year, like I said, I started chasing my wife at the time to be that, but she didn't want it, but she never said it, and so it took me some time to realize she wasn't trying to be in a relationship. She was trying to be with somebody. She was trying to explore and do what you do in college. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, it wasn't connecting for me.
You wanted your woman.
Yeah, I knew what I wanted, and that was just it. So looking back on it, you know, we talked about it before, like that's what it was. She wanted to explore more, you know, and I was trying to lock her down. And I will say, like the first 5 years of our marriage, I think was hard because of that. I think because, like I said, we were sweethearts and we ended up together, and it was a lot of stuff that we didn't really talk about. It was a lot of things we hadn't really experienced, and so it was like, well, it was like we had to work through.
And y'all had to grow up together.
Yeah, and we're still growing. And I will say, I don't know, it could be a pro and a con. I think for us, it has been a pro. I was like, because we've seen each other grow and we've grown, you know, in good ways, you know what I mean, and good spaces. But, you know, and there have been some bumps along the road, but I think that just comes with growth with anybody. Like, as you grow, because we continually growing, there are going to be ups and downs. It's just now we're experiencing those ups and downs together. So it's like how we work through, how we navigate through those problems together. And that can be kind of hard, you know, especially early on. So I'll just say, take your time and just enjoy your life. You know what I'm saying? What worked for me may not work for you, especially nowadays. I don't recommend that for anybody. Like, we tell our girls that now, like, when y'all get older, like, go and live and have a good time and, you know, just enjoy life. And our oldest one, she always asks us, so how old was y'all when y'all got married? And we never really say. We like, we was old enough.
Old enough.
Because we don't want her to, you know what I'm saying? Well, like, again, we didn't do something bad, but we want her to be able to experience life to the fullest and make sure she's ready to jump in that when she's really ready to jump into it.
Sure, that's interesting because, like you say, you and Tawana be married 20 years in July, and I was, you kind of used something too, I guess, what you said about. I was kind of thinking, like, because your situation is not typical. Well, probably typical back our parents' day, like you go to college or our grandparents' days and get married. But you said you actually marry your college sweetheart and y'all together.
Had a throwback
all the time. So most people I know that it happens for. If they did, it might not have lasted, unfortunately. But you know, just kind of, you know, y'all kind of defeat the odds of today's time. But is it anything specific that Tawana felt like she missed out on, not necessarily college, but say as a young adult, like her having her own place or doing like
that's exactly what it was. She went that because, like I said, she went from her mom's house to college, to her parents' house to college, to my house.
She never had her own room. She never had her own.
I remember the year we got engaged. The year we got engaged 2009, and we had already set a date for 2002. But somewhere in there, she was like, you know what? She came to me one night and she was like, why don't we push it back a year? Because I feel like I need to get my own spot, you know, just be out on my own for a little bit before we do this. And at the time, I was so against it. Like we argued because I was like, I took it as you were rejecting me, but because our communication was not where it should have been, she didn't just say, this is why I want to do this, because I think well, we do this, will be good for me and it might be good for us. It wasn't communicated that way. It wasn't communicated. Again, the first 5 years was hard. It came out later on. But so I kind of feel like I pressured her and I should have listened to what she was saying, but I really wasn't hearing her what she was saying at the time. And that was one of the things, you know, that she regretted, like she never got a chance to do. And so I see that, you know, now, and I see with other people too, who, like I said, who in similar situations, if they had did certain things in their 20s, they might not be where they at right now if they had allowed themselves to get that experience.
Okay.
I just, knock on wood, mine just didn't turn out bad or detrimental, you know. And like I said, it's work. We work through some stuff, you know. It's a constant job.
Yeah.
A whole job.
A whole job.
Yeah, it definitely has to work. It's not, you know, it's not necessarily bad to work, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not bad work. There's, like I said, we was able to navigate through some things, and you know, we make it work. People gotta want to make it work too. That's the difference. You know,
you gotta be willing to
want the same things. Too,
right.
So.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and segue to the other thing I wanted to ask everyone. Being that that we all been part of like organizations or, like I said, activities at school or whatever the case may be. I guess specifically I wanted to ask, like, for example, Mika Shar Sigmas, Najee is a Zeta, Jamie is an Omega, Jermaine's a Mason. But I want to know, like, what was like your experience or your thoughts before joining whatever organization that you were a part of? Like, what was your thoughts before you actually was a part of that organization? Like, what do you thought you was coming into? What were some of your experiences going through whatever process that you feel comfortable sharing? And then in looking back and reflecting on it, what was your overall experience of that time period, or even now? You know, it could be now. So some of this is for life. So, you know, it depends. So I'm gonna start with Najee because she's the guest.
Okay, so like, I mean, for me, you know, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. You know, moved here.
Flatbush?
Brownsville.
I don't know the difference.
All over, really.
Sean Price.
I say again.
Sean Price is from Brownsville. The rapper Sean Price from Brownsville.
Oh, Sean Price. Yeah, I know Sean. I follow him. But yeah. So, and I lived in different places before school and everything. And the way I really experienced sororities and fraternities was like my senior year being at Hillside when we moved here, and it was only step shows, you know, a couple of AKAs and deltas that school really didn't know. To be honest, the way I kind of got in tune with fraternities and sororities was more so through the person that I was dating at the time. I mean, he was a Sigma, and I was around the brothers. I knew about the brotherhood before I knew about the sisterhood. So I was already a community person anyway, being and reached the TFBLA, a lot of different community things in high school. So that was already in me. You know, I did a couple of things with SGA when I first came to school. So being around the bros and then knowing a lot of the old heads and being around the person that I was with at the time, I got to know the sisters, you know what I'm saying? So I got to know a lot of Zetas. And it was never any pressure. It was, you know, my big sister Charlene, Kathy Black, Kima, you know, a lot of those ladies who, Erica Dixon, who I was just like in spaces with, you know. So, you know, when it came time to make that decision or decide, you know, I don't even have too much experience with sororities and things like that. I thought community, sisterhood. I have 4 sisters. I got a sister that went to Central. She's a Delta. And it was just best suited for me. Just that circle. It just felt like me. And one thing, you know, being at Central and starting to understand sororities and, you know, the residential folks that worked there, and like I think our person that kind of ran the dorm was she was a Delta, and then when I went to Latham, it was an AKA, and I just saw a lot of folks who came into sororities and they looked at it as the sorority made them. And for me, I already was a person myself. You know what I'm saying? I already had established who Najee was. Zeta didn't make me. You know what I'm saying? And we get a lot of that in school and colleges. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you know who you are before you join the sorority and just change the whole game up. You know what I'm saying? And you're a whole different person by that time.
Yeah.
But as far as choosing Zeta, I decided to choose Zeta because of that circle that I was in. Because I had somebody who was a community person himself, and just these great people that was around him doing a lot of great things that I wanted to at some point be a part of doing. I found out my best friend, Veronica, wanted to be a part of that too. It was a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do this together.
Let's go. I got somebody to go with me.
We did it together.
Exactly. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess in terms of actually like your process, what do you think about it? You thought it was like a good learning experience? Do you think it was like pretty much it was more difficult than you thought it was going to be? Like,
Man, I actually didn't know what to expect with that. You hear all the stories, you watch Different World, you watch all of these, School Days was one of my favorite movies. But I was up for the challenge. I was like, okay, what we doing? And it was, me and my line sisters. And, the thing about the experience is that each one of my line sisters, with the exception of one, is in my life as well as my children's life in some capacity.
Yeah,
and that didn't happen from day one to now. That was ordained because it took 10, 15 years for them to kind of route back and us to be in contact and them see what my girls are doing or support me in a certain way or me support them. And then for us to come full circle, with the exception of Veronica. But all my line sisters, they're all aunts, like Auntie Tawana, you know what I'm saying? Auntie B, Auntie Jamila, everybody is a part of our life in some capacity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as far as the experience is concerned, no, I didn't expect what happened. I really didn't, but I'm happy that we went through it. And I think the better thing was having those big sisters, Charlene and Erica and Kima and all of those folks there to help us along. So that was a good thing, because I didn't know that was the bridge there until I got into the process. So building relationships with them and meeting other sorors during the process and things like that, and building those relationships even our older sorors, Lori Smallwood and some of our older sorors, just building relationships with them. One, Priscilla Ramser, she's like my mentor. She's been my mentor for about maybe 8 to 10 years now. We worked in the same environment at Duke. So just touching base with people in those spaces. So that's what's been the best thing.
All right, that's what's up. Jamel, we'll kick it to you though, like I said, because you're different. I don't know if you want to get into Mason or you want to talk about even the experience with football. Like, I don't know which route you want to go, but
so
both, because he dang sure had the bald head.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna preface what I'm gonna say with this word here: identity. Right. When I came out of high school, I signed a scholarship with this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this school called Lenore Ryan. I signed with Lenore Ryan and never went, and ended up just going to Central. Okay. When I left high school, I wasn't like that traditional college student. I told you guys the environment I came from, I probably was something else first and then a college student second in terms of mindset. So I'm saying this to say, Najee touched on it. And I feel this way. At 18, I have already established my identity. I didn't need a group. I didn't need to be around the most popular people on campus at NCCU. I had a head start because by my sister finishing at Central before I got there, all of her friends were already kind of schooling me on the game.
That was my experience too.
Right, same experience. So I had me coming from the environment I came from. Probably I had more experience in certain areas, probably weren't good areas than other folks, but it helped me on the other side of academics. But my point is this. Let's just start with football first. All right, so I learned a bunch of things, a lot of disciplines through playing sports, right? But you know, the goal was to go to the league, buy my mama a house, and ride and off in the sunset. Never happened, right? But anyway, but I learned so much about identity. I learned so much about principles, right? I learned so much about instead of throwing your clothes on the floor, put them in a hamper or hang your stuff up. Like I was disciplined through football.
Mhm.
As far as pledging, and this is just my perception, since I had already established my own identity and in high school, athlete, played three sports, point guard, ran track, 4x1, 100, played football, was known in high school, senior year with my homies. When I got to Central, I felt like being some of the folks I had been around, I felt like and this is not everybody. This is not a blanket statement, but I felt like a lot of guys, they probably weren't popular in high school and they were looking for something to validate them, right?
Mhm.
I didn't need a group of folks to be heard or seen. First of all, I'm not a rah-rah type of guy anyway, but I just felt like it was just fake. I honestly felt
Mhm.
like my first 2 years, I just felt like it was just people were, it was about letters and colors.
Mhm.
So with me becoming a Mason, first of all, the clientele, the folks I dealt with were older. Second of all, I've always had an interest in the scriptures from like a scholarly standpoint. You had
Mhm.
to deep dive in them scriptures in order to even get in line to become a Mason. You got to really know those scriptures. Um, and I would hear things about what was going to happen, and they did happen. Like I was,
I heard about it and it did happen.
you're gonna lose your life. You're gonna lose your life. This old head say, hey, you're gonna lose your life, man, but you'll get it back. You're gonna lose it this morning, but you'll get it back this evening. And
Damn.
I kept like trying to wrap my mind around that concept, but I found out exactly what he was talking about. Trust me. But but my point is, my mom did a great job of exposing us to chores and things around the house to help us establish an identity as kids. And then as we transition into like teens and early adulthood, I can honestly say neither one of us we didn't need a group to be validated. My sister was an AKA because she's about that service, right? She's a silver now. So
Mhm.
that's and she's
25 years in.
right.
Yeah.
So she was about
Mhm.
that action when it came to being an AKA. My
Mhm.
brother and I, he went to Phillips State, played ball, yada yada, kind of the same thing. So I'm saying all this to say I felt like becoming a Mason. I did contribute in terms, and I still am. Volunteering my time when when I can and stuff like that. But I just felt like that college campus Greek life, and
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with it. It just didn't fit my identity. I wasn't searching for an identity. I didn't want to
Mhm.
be a part of stuff. And then when I would see, you know, some homies I was hanging with, I would see, arguing with fat brothers, and fighting.
Yeah.
It just didn't fit my identity, and I didn't need to be validated at all. My whole
Mhm.
entire tenure in college, I never needed to be validated. I never needed it to get girls. I never needed it to be popular.
Mhm.
I never needed it to get more clients when I cut hair. It just didn't fit my bill. So,
Mhm.
but I did learn this though. I did learn, like I said, I did learn between sports and becoming a Mason. I learned that it was okay um, to not um, have to be in the in crowd. I mean, I already knew it, but it just made more
You were
sense.
confirmed.
Right. It confirmed it. And you echo so much more louder when you stand 10 toes down to your own identity. Um,
Mhm.
and because at the end of the day, folks who you think are cool with you, they're really talking about you
Mhm.
behind, when you're out here like really searching for identity, because I've seen it happen, right? Undergrad, I would hear people whispering and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. So
Mhm.
All right. Who wants to step up next? Charles?
Yeah.
Jamie? Huh? Dr. Baker
I
Charles.
go. Yeah. Oh man. So my situation was like crazy, right? Because it was kind of like I always knew that I was gonna be a part of a great organization. I knew that from jump. Because like I said, my family was from Durham, so I was always in Durham. So Central was like in my grandma's back door, backyard or whatever.
Backyard.
Yeah, backyard. So I always saw Greek life, right? And school days, of course, like that just took me to a whole nother orbit, when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a part of the organization. Where it went wrong was, I think it went wrong. I guess kind of what Jermaine was talking about, the identity piece. I never felt like I needed to be a part of anything for identity purposes, but because I was trying to find myself, I found myself listening to other people like all the time. Like even in middle school, like my family was like, you're gonna be in the band. So I went and got in the band. Hated it. Played the trumpet, baritone, tuba. I could play all those instruments. Hated it, but I did it because they told me to. Got in chorus. You're gonna do this. Like all these different things, tap, like all this stuff that my grandmother put me in, my family put me in. Like it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do, but it was like, this is what you're gonna do. So it kind of like spilled over in my high school years, you know, going to like ECU, some of the parties and seeing the Greek life there. And people was like, you look like you're gonna be this. Right. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay, for real? In my head. So I kept hearing it over and over and over again. You look like you're gonna be this. So that stuck with me, right?
Right.
From high school all the way to college. So when I got to college, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna be that because that's what people told me I should do, right? So that's what I thought. And had conversations with my friends, so they thought I was gonna do this. And so when it came time to do that, talking to some of the brothers a part of this organization, you know, trying to go to their little stuff and just be up under them so I could be known. And when it came down to it, when it's time for business, I got left out. And to the same people who I thought, you know, we was gonna be doing this together, no one told me anything. So I felt some type of way. So I had to go and went and talk to one of the big brothers. And I was like, yo, I went to all this stuff. You know, I've been talking to you all this time. Like, what happened? And he said something that really stuck with me, and it didn't never dawned on me. He was like, "But you don't know anything. Like, you don't know any information. You don't really know anything about us. Like, you did not do. Basically, I didn't do my due diligence to be part of something that I wanted to be a part of so bad because everybody kept telling me that's what I was supposed to do, but I never really. Why do I really want to do this? You know what I'm saying? So that kind of messed me up a little bit. And so I remember Jamie specifically, like, I think we had a lot of conversations about Greek life and the organizations that we want to pledge and or be a part of. But at the time when that happened, you were already doing what you were trying to do.
Yep.
And you was really consumed with what you was doing. So I really felt like I didn't want to put that on you. So we didn't really never had a conversation. I never really talked to you about how I felt about it, what I was going through, because I knew you was going through what you was going through. So we never really got a chance to talk about it. So I kind of just like, I just dealt with it myself. But during that time I was dealing with it, I started being around some other brothers, like my roommate, you know, who was a part of the organization Phi Beta Sigma. I was hanging around him and all his friends, his brothers, you know, all that. So it's like, again, like Najee said, the proximity of that situation, it kind of like influences you a little bit. And when you get that, like that welcoming spirit and that people actually talking to you about like what they do and what the experiences is, I'm learning all this stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, well, some of that stuff kind of aligns with what I want to do and what I'm about. And so that's kind of how it happened organically. And I think that's how it should have happened. It should have happened organically and not because people told me that's what I should do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my advice to anybody out there who want to be a part of any organization, whether it's sports, whatever, band, Greek, whatever, make sure it's something you really want to do and do your due diligence.
It's a commitment.
Research, because you might get the door slammed in your face if you don't know, you know what I'm saying? If you don't really know what you're about to step into, what you know.
A lifetime commitment.
And don't let anybody that whole thing about you look like a and you look like a, you know, I told, you know, whether my girls want to pledge or not, you all know that my daughter is a Zeta. And even before, you know, she went to school. I mean, her mom was already set, but at the same time, I told her, you know, you get on campus, you might feel different. You know what I'm saying? It might be a different experience for you. I'm not pressuring you, you know what I'm saying, to do that or not. My middle girl, this is not happening. I already know it. She's at UNC Charlotte. This is not, she's a 5B. She ain't trying, I got one more to go. But like Ashara was saying, it's just, you know, for it to happen organically is probably the best way. But that you look like a Delta, or you look like an AKA, or you look like a Theta or a Sigma Gamma Rho, those things was placed on a lot of us coming in 95.
Constantly.
Yeah, yeah. And some of the situations like Kashara just went through, I have girlfriends who went through that as well. And I have girlfriends who was just so discouraged, you know what I'm saying, that it just didn't happen for them at all because they shut down, you know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because, to be honest with you, it shouldn't even be that hard. You know what I'm saying? These are people
Because it's
now
either you or not.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's too much control, you know what I'm saying? But if you're not educated on that coming into school, and you know it's already difficult enough coming into school, but then you're turning around and this is another piece of that experience. You know, if you don't have that, like I didn't really have it as much as I should have, but I still feel like I made the right decision, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel the same way. So my thought process about it, I feel like going into it, I had you have some idea, like you said, you see stuff on TV, you hear stories from other people. Like I lived with my ADP, so it was,
let me clarify that for everybody. Kashara and Kwame were roommates. Kwame was Kasharo's ADP. He whipped his ass every night. So Kwame would be back in the room. Kashara would have to go back with his line brothers and then come back to his abuser's room. And that nigga hated that shit. Kashara hated that shit, nigga.
Yeah, I did. So we had to figure out something else. Yeah, it could have been worse than it was. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't that bad, but yeah, it was bad. So we had to figure out something else. But the experience was, it was hard. I'm saying, because I was a senior too. That's the other thing too. I waited to my senior year. Again, I was trying to figure my stuff out, you know, along the way, all the other 3 years, you know, and then it led to my senior year. And it was hard for me. Like, it was really hard. Like, 2 times I cried the whole process. It was 11 and a half weeks. 2 times I cried. One was the bonding moment that I actually started. You thrown together with people. Some people you don't even like. You don't even know.
Chosen brothers are thrust upon you.
And that one night, I cracked because I saw something happen to one of my brothers, and I couldn't take it, and I lost it. Then I kind of just went off on some of the older brothers, but they was like, "This is what's supposed to happen." Like, what you
gotta break them.
Experience that, yeah, that's what happened. And then the other time, like I said, I was a senior, so I was trying to make sure I was gonna graduate on time. It was really, really hard process, but because the people I did it with, they made it work. It worked for me. Like, you thrown together with people you're supposed to be thrown together with.
Yes, I absolutely believe it.
It is. I don't know if it's divine intervention, but the people that you go through these experiences with, it's meant to happen the way it's supposed to happen. And I don't think if it was not for those 3, I would not be a Sigma to this day. So they made it work for me, and it was good. Could I do it again? Never. But,
never.
But
say,
it was
you say 1 star, would not recommend.
Yeah, it was the one of the best experiences of my life, because they broke me down, but they built me back up too. And the qualities that I had, it just made them even more sharper. And then I learned new skills along the way too. So it was.
I agree with that.
The other thing I want to throw in, just from the other side, because at that point, like I said, I was already on the other side. And you bringing in somebody that you're close with, and you can't show no favoritism. Actually, it probably was harder
on it worse,
because I didn't want it to be like, okay, well, that's your homie, that's your brother, like that. So he got treated, you know what I'm saying, just like everybody.
He got treated worse,
pretty much, because it's like, you don't want nobody saying you got it because somebody looking out for you. So yeah, I made sure that, you know what I'm saying, I was on his neck, whatever, about certain stuff, whatever. I mean, I didn't really mess with him too much in the room too much, because I was just like, that's
where you got to turn it off.
Yeah, that's the only time I turn it off. But outside that room, you know what I'm saying? And a couple times we at the mall or something, like, yo, I need to go holler at that girl right there, get her number. And he like, you for real? I'm like, yeah, I'm dead serious.
Yes, nigga, you online.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you doing all the whole time. So, I mean, but I would have did to any, to any of the guys.
Anybody else.
Too. So I can't not do to you, because, so it was just kind of one of those things like that. But I do give y'all props. I did. Like you said, y'all, came together, you see somebody, like you said, start from a certain point and they growing and they being sharp and everything else, actually being a part of that, or from that standpoint, it's definitely, it's almost like a teaching moment. You know, you bring somebody in, so it's kind of like a reflection of what you bringing in. So it's kind of, you know, you see it done right, then you kind of
Right.
all right, you know. And I seen it done wrong too, though. So
Yeah.
it just depends on how
Yes.
it goes. But yeah, Jamie, I'm gonna let you go. Then mine will probably be not that long, but good.
Okay. So in my particular case, I wanted all of the college experience, all of it. So I was into like these sophomore comedy movies about college, you know, Animal House and all of these other movies, Revenge of the Nerds. I wanted the college experience.
Mhm.
So the movie that really turned me was School Days. Like, oh shit, black people doing this shit too. So I felt a certain way, right? And then I got into high school and I saw a couple step shows on Showtime at the Apollo, and there's some guys in purple. I'm like, that shit looks amazing. I don't know who they are, and they got the squiggly lines on it. Okay, so then my scoutmaster, Mr. Staten, had a paddle up in his house that had the squiggly line on it, like the people on Apollo, that felt like the people on School Days.
Mhm.
So his wife had a paddle. It was pink and green. It said AKA. I'm like, I'm putting it together.
Mhm.
So then we go to a Fayetteville State parade. We're in the band at high school at Red Springs High School. I played the cymbals on the weekend just so I could be with everybody else. And there's this guy who is in that fucking shirt again that says Omega Psi Phi, but he is talking to this cop. Come on, Mr. Johnson, let me in. Come on, man, let me in. The cop looked around and said, all right, man, come on. It's something about that also basically it's alignment and feeling. It's like, whatever the fuck he's doing, I want a part of that. So I want to go in. So let's segue now. I'm at Central. I've made my mind up. I want to be a Q. I knew that in high school. I get to Central, and y'all know if you go to Central, you pledge everything. Every group, your dorm, everything. So my first semester or first week, I was in the band because I wanted to be with everybody else. Like I wanted to go like I was in high school, go on all the trips and do stuff. Come to find out, I had to pledge the fucking drum line, and nobody told me. Nobody said, "Hey, look, you have to do this." They just told me to go over there, and it didn't click. So I quit. I'm like, nigga, I don't want to be here practicing every day, and y'all talking to me like I'm a sucker. Ain't but 30 people in this band. Why? Well, you know what is going on? I had no clue that I was online. We had a parade on the West End, and they made us run down to the football field with no instruments to practice with no instruments. Do you in the middle of the day on a Saturday? Nigga, I'm supposed to be in the room eating cereal with Jermaine, kicking it. But nobody told me I was pledging. So understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So my first semester, first week, I'm online, but nobody told me. Juan was my line brother. I was the ace, and he was the deuce. And I quit because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm saying all to say that when you get to Central, you're gonna pledge something.
I never heard that story before.
Yeah, nigga, I was in the band. I quit that shit. I was like, this is too much. Whatever y'all doing is too much, and nobody's communicating to me what's happening, and I don't like it. Yeah. So then I had to pick a roommate. So my roommate left, and Mr. Cox said, look, you need to pick a roommate. And the guy across the hall from me was Kevin Carpenter. He was 24. I'm 18.
Yeah,
Kevin is 6'5", black as night. And in his room, he only had a crate of books and a pennant that said Omega Psi Phi. And I said, oh shit, I have to make a decision. Do I pick a roommate down the hall who has all the shit that I have, all these fucking clothes and TV and a microwave, or I pick that grown ass man who's the only Q on campus to come and be my roommate? And I made a fucking pimp's decision, and he came. He's like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. But that semester, fall 95, he was pledging fall 95. He was the only bro on the yard. So I was engulfed in that shit. I saw everything, well, you know, as far as I could. And I stole his notes. I learned all the poems and stuff.
Hold on, he was breaking in 95 at that point.
That's right. He is fall 90. He is spring 91.
Oh, okay.
So he's 24. And I'm 18, and everybody else is regular age. It was 15 of them. So I saw them, and I was sold. So I went to the library, stole the notes, and I learned Invictus. I learned See It Through. I learned everything on my own time. So that's my freshman year. first semester. Then I go to the WPI. I got to pledge that shit. So I'm pledging the worship and praise inspirational mass choir, nigga.
I didn't know that.
The tenor section, they have a little thing where you got to pledge that. I'm like, yo, you pledging everything. By the time I'm familiar with what pledging was, WPI. I'm not telling on them. It's just, and I didn't cross. I got dropped. They dropped me. So worship and praise inspirational mass choir dropped me. You had to walk around all day with a cup of water. You remember that, Kashara? I had to walk around with a cup of water all day, filled to the brim. And and then you had to say something, you had to stand up and shit in choir rehearsal. So I didn't pass that either. I got dropped from that. And then in 97, I pledged Phi Beta Lambda, which is the business fraternity.
I remember that.
And y'all chapter brother is my line brother, Rico Armstrong. So that was in 97. So
my line brother, yeah.
He, as soon as we were done, he went online for Sigma that night. So I'm all in on the pledging shit. I want to be a part of this shit. I want in. So by this time, I've already pledged Tau Psi 2 times, and them niggas was bullshitting because niggas is niggas. Niggas is niggas. And we were on the spring 98, and that got dropped because somebody got beat up in Kentucky. And then we brought a bunch of fall 98 brothers in the fraternity, but it took me 3 times to get it in. And it was the best shit ever because this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted this. I saw this. I saw those people that felt like that's exactly who I see myself as. And I know what it looks like. I know what a cotillion looks like. I know what a boule looks like. I want that shit. Give me all of it because I saw it all and I wanted it all. And, I learned how to set goals through Boy Scouts. It was like, I want to get this merit badge. I want to get my Eagle Scout award. You have to do it by a certain time. So the same with this frat shit. I locked in like, okay, I got to learn these poems. I got to have this money and I got to do this stuff because I wanted the experience and what comes after it. So I would tell anybody, if you want to do it, certainly do it because you're not buying friends. You are enjoying the experience of brotherhood, sisterhood, connections. And, if I go to Michigan, I just need to make one phone call. And not that you can't do that, but it's a great feeling to know that you could just make that call and, make something happen.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, well, for me, it was pretty, I don't say it was destined, but like I said, my father was already, he was a Sigma. So it was kind of like I was seeing it, but it was kind of subconsciously. Like my dad never really
subconsciously.
He never, I can't remember him saying like, when you get to school, you got to be a Sigma. Like we never had that.
Your dad went to Shaw.
He went to Shaw. Yeah, he pledged spring 74, Iota chapter, Phi Beta Sigma. So, so basically, so, I've seen it around the house, like the paraphernalia, the brand, just the stuff around. But like I said, it was never a conversation about it. It was never no pressure for me. But of course, that's stuck in my head. But but also, so like I said, you hear the stereotypes when you go on campus and everything. But also, it wasn't just because my dad was it. But I think also when I got on campus, to me, I kind of felt like, maybe what Jermaine might have said, but also I kind of felt like out of the groups, like people were kind of more themselves with that fraternity, in my personal opinion. Like it wasn't like, okay, if I'm a Kappa now, I have to get a whole new wardrobe. If I'm this, I'm that, whatever, like that. So it's no disrespect to the Kappas, anybody, but I'm just using that for example. So I felt like, seeing some brothers I did see around, it seemed like, okay, they was part of brotherhood, but also they was kind of like still themselves and everything. And I kind of felt like I more identified with that. But I said, yeah, sure, it did help my father being a Sigma, my aunt is Zeta, my older cousin is Zeta. I got older, there's a whole bunch of people either Zetas and Sigmas in my family already too. So, that didn't hurt anything at all. But even going in, I didn't let nobody know that I was even like legacy like that, because I didn't even want to extra heat on me at all. Like
all the heat.
I kept that quiet until after I crossed. My line brothers knew, but like outside, the ones bringing me in, they didn't know that until afterwards. So,
your daddy didn't show up to the set?
Nah, he didn't come. He saw Kashar on the line. He showed up.
I'll be damned.
We brought them to him and my aunt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's what's up.
They both were, my dad was more chill. He wouldn't know. My aunt was kind of interrogating him a little bit. But but yeah, I mean, but it was but it was like I said, it was a great experience, whatever. So I'd say it was a great experience because like I said, it was an experience. Like I said, I would say that. And like you said, and you're around people you think you would never know, and everybody comes from different backgrounds and just kind of like bringing it all together. And like you said, you're friends with people, or not in all cases, but a lot of cases that you probably never even probably talk to if he wasn't.
That's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know, how would I know Rich? How would I know Frank? How would you know what I mean? Like those people.
Or better yet, how will you know Jalen Baker, who was what? I use him for an example. He's what,
20-something years behind me. Yeah.
The point I'm making is that there's no reason why you should know Jalen Baker other than the fact that he's your chapter brother.
Exactly. So I know him because you know what I mean.
That's right.
Years later, whatever and stuff, whatever. And some of them, I'm like some like young guys, they'll give me a call here and there. Got a text with Founders Day and stuff like. Dudes, my dude's like 20-something, 25 years younger than me. You know what I mean? Whatever and stuff too. So it gets like that part of that, you know, being part of that, going to the Founders centennial and all that was a great experience and all that. But so the whole brotherhood stuff is definitely cool. Of course, you know what I'm saying. So I don't think it's everything is. I think you like I say, you got to go and be yourself and know who you are, whatever and stuff. And being like if that's something you really want, then you know nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, I think that you should also not lose yourself and realize, like you said, you're a man or a woman first, and don't forget that as well. But like I said, because you want to be somebody before you even join any type of organization, in my opinion, too, as well. But you know, but there's nothing wrong being proud of your organization as well. So it's just one of those things, just finding that line and everything else. So that was pretty much like what kind of brought me into wanting to join Phi Beta Sigma. And you know, like I said, I enjoy the brotherhood and love it. So that's what it is.
Hey yo, you know the first I'm gonna say impactful moment in terms of like seeing a fraternity or just like what happens. I'll never forget this. I think it was freshman year, first semester. Like I'm talking about like October. I don't know. We were heading to Chapel Hill. So I'd only been on campus for like a month and a half. I'll never forget this. And when we were on Franklin, and when you bend that curve, when you're coming on Franklin, you go up the hill, and right before you get on the little strip, it was like 10 white boys running in a line with tidy whities on. All they had was sneakers and drawers on.
What is that? What is that? Chapel Hill. Oh, okay. I'm like, what? I missed that part. Okay.
They had like tidy whities on, no other clothes, no shirts, just sneakers and tidy whities. And then somebody in the car was like, "Yo, they're pledging," and it just resonated like what they have to go, you know, what they were putting.
Yeah.
And this was early. This wasn't like it was like late. This was like, you know what I'm saying, evening,
morning, afternoon.
Yeah, and and they were running through camps with drawers on. So that was pretty dope to see that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my freshman year, like you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Hey, before we move on, I know we kind of dragged us for a minute, but I had two questions I want to ask everybody. The first question I wanted to ask was like, what was the first, like, I don't know, Jim, you might have answered this already, but what was like the first probate that you ever seen? Like of any organization, not necessarily your own organization, but the first one that kind of
Fall 95.
So that was your first one.
Yeah, Tulsa Fall 95.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Najee? Anything stand out in mind like before you actually did it? Okay.
Mine.
Yours? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't, you know, I just didn't, I wasn't in tune with it all until after I got to Central. And I don't think we had too many folks on campus. You know, it was my sophomore year. So prior to that, I didn't, you know what? Nope. Alpha Lambda day went over. I'm sorry, my sister's best friend, she was number 70, Vicky. I was out
spring
there.
95.
But, yeah, spring. Yeah.
So you were still in high school.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get to Central till fall 95.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, fall 95.
Spring 95.
So
yeah.
It was the line with 70 deltas
That's
on
spring
it.
95.
Okay. So yeah, she was number 70, and I knew her, and I think that was my first. I didn't see the whole, you know, it was a lot, but I was just like, wow, like, is this what, you know, how this goes? Yeah. So I can't say that. So yeah.
I remember seeing the Alphas coming out. They was carrying like torches or something. Like they was going through.
What year was this? 97?
It had to be, but I'm trying to think who line was that though. I don't know if it was like Kasim in them line, but nah, but he came in when I came in, so I'm not sure. But I remember like there was like somebody had like some torches walking between the between like Rush and the administration building or something. I don't know. It was
I
crazy.
don't remember much about Gamma Beta, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So man, but yeah, I can't even remember the other question, but we can go ahead.
Well, I have a question real quick for Jermaine. Jermaine, I might have missed it when you said it. Like, what was your influence to masonry? I knew what the football was, but what was your influence to masonry?
So I have a couple family members, well, a bunch of family members who are Masons. And I was just, and a lot of my family who were Masons in the South, it was more so this big secret, like it was like top secret, like NASA codes and bomb codes type shit, right? But as I started, some would kind of reveal to me that it was more so, it was about obviously community service, and it was about a bunch of signs and tokens. Obviously that meant something, but it was more so like coming to terms with biblically with the scriptures, like doing a deep dive, right? And you have to know exactly what's going on between those pages. And I think that was like what was intriguing for me. You know what I'm saying? And I told you guys, like, I read the Quran and the Bible, right? So, but as you get older, I'm more interested in it, and yeah, the community service part, but it's more so about the scriptures. And then it felt comfortable. It felt like, okay, these are older guys, and it wasn't that on campus Greek type feel. It was more so let's solidify the professionals, and you would hear things like, yeah, this will put you in certain spaces, right, that you wouldn't typically be able to get into. So but it was just intriguing, and everything about it was like very intriguing. And like I said, I didn't want to, I felt like pledging at 19, 20 years old, I just felt like I was in a different space. I really wasn't in that college space. I wasn't in that fraternity space. I just was somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I just my identity just clashed with the concept of having to be somewhere on time. That's why I never joined a motorcycle group. I don't want to have to be there. I want to do my own thing.
That's fucking genius, actually, y'all. That makes perfect sense.
Right.
Like, well, I get there when I get there.
Got your bikes.
Right. One helmet. I don't want to ride nobody. One helmet. That's just you guys. That's just what I did. So I just felt like if I'm gonna be held accountable, I want to at least be held accountable standing on something that I feel comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? And again, there's nothing wrong with pledging on campus if that fits your bill. But it wasn't cookie cutter effect for me. It just didn't fit me.
But that's what I learned from one of the things that stick in my mind: time value. Like I'm always on time, always early for most point in time.
Right.
That's why Jermaine, you know that about me. Every time I go, so I'm already, you know what I'm saying? Well, all y'all know that about me, really. So, so it's just like,
yes, I happen to know you too.
I know that came from that, you know what I mean? I know that came from that. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, because I was before, but I pay attention to it because I know consequences came behind it at that time. It did. So like, it was just one of those things. But
and I think so too. I've never been, I'm sorry, I've never been like a frontliner. Like I don't need a lot. I don't want a lot of attention. Anything I do, I just, you know, that's why my social media diet is super small, right? I've been doing better professionally, like on LinkedIn, but I'm just not that I don't need the spotlight. I don't need to be the shiniest light bulb in the room. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot that comes with it, but you can still be a grounded person, obviously, and be in a fraternity. But
yeah, a lot of people like that.
It just, you know.
I mean, because I don't feel like I'm like that. I don't feel like I'm, you know, out there like that and everything. And, you know, like no. Personally, I don't feel that way. But
no, and it's not. I'm just saying, for me, it's not everybody. I'm just saying you still
I get
balance both. But my first probate was my sister's in '93. I didn't know what was going on. I think I was a sophomore in high school, sophomore in high school, and we went up. My sister.
Okay, that's what's up. Hey, so hey, Jermaine, you want to get a dose of dopeness?
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, okay. So look, we got drum roll. So what we doing? Just regular?
We're going Dougie fresh that shit.
Hey, look, everybody tied too. I'm looking at everybody tied too. All right, so this week's dose of dopeness actually goes to my brother Tim Jones. He's doing some great stuff. Tim, through his nonprofit foundation, which is helping others, he has written an ebook on stocks. It's a basic 101 building wealth in the stock market book. That's the title actually. Building wealth in the stock market for beginners. It's available as an audio book on all platforms. He also does these classes, 101 Bitcoin breakthrough for beginners, 101 basic stock options for beginners. He does stock and Bitcoin mentorship programs as well. And he also does this mentorship program that basically helps you to develop a recession-proof portfolio. For example, a $1,000 investment can turn into $97,000 between 3 and 5 years. And his Zoom sessions are on Sundays at 8 o'clock. You can find all this information on his IG page. And the ad is at TJ Helping Others. Again, that's at TJ Helping Others. Check it out if you're into stocks or you want to get into stocks and Bitcoin. Dope information.
That's what's up.
Crypto.
Those are dopeness. All right.
Well, I know usually this is like the end of the show, but I wanted to, and I don't know like the order, maybe I edit it, put it on front end, because I know usually the song come on, but at the same time, I know that whole flow, but I wanted to just say to all of y'all, you know, it just, it warms my heart to know or to see when this came about and you guys developed this, you know, for some people it's good to be a part of something or to see, you know, kings do things collectively, especially when you know them. And I just want to thank y'all for putting this platform together and it being as successful as it is. We have a lot of entrepreneurs from our class from 95 to 99. I look at us like, I look at the time that we went to school. It's no different from, in my opinion, hip hop. You know, music is good, hip hop is good, but it's always that 89 to 92 time frame that's the best. I feel like with us going to school, we could always talk about what time frame is best at Central or wherever, but nothing could beat our time that we was there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I just want to, you know, with the entrepreneurs that we have, I mean, there's so many of us. It's like when you hit that 39, 40, it's like all of this comes in your mind, all the stuff you want to do. That's what I tell my daughters and people I mentor. Like, you know, it's going to be a time where it's going to be a lot of stuff start popping up in your mind. Those are the things that's going to be most important. And I'm just happy that this platform is here for me to enjoy. My kids know the song and for other people to enjoy and that you guys are still doing it. You know what I'm saying? And you're moving forward with it. And the fact that I know, you know, I don't know everybody so personally, but I can honestly say that I know you all to an extent to be able to listen to you all talk about the topics and things like that that you discuss. You know, sometimes I was telling Kasharo, I sent him a little clip yesterday about Vera and Eddie Murphy, because sometimes, you know, y'all, I'll be ready to jump through that screen on Jermaine James. I be like, yeah, I be driving because the time that I listen to this is when I'm in the car by myself and I got a long trip. It's like, okay, 4 times dope. It's my time to listen, my time to catch up, get fed, you know what I'm saying? Because you all do feed us, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I listen to some of that stuff and I'm like talking to y'all while y'all talking. You know what I'm saying? And it's just dope to know that this platform is lasting, is gonna last, and y'all are so real. You know what I'm saying? You are all your own people. You know what I'm saying? I might get mad at Jamie and Jermaine at times, but then I pull from it and I say, you know what? I need to be a little bit no disrespect. You know, I need to take from them and take some of that arrogance and know that I can not to be disrespectful, but as a female, to say, you know what? Thank you for them putting that out there, because I didn't think about that's how guys look at things. So I didn't realize that that's what I look for as a single woman. You know, I've had my bouts with life and things like that, but it's good to have this platform to see what real guys, and y'all are real guys, think. So I appreciate it. And I do want to say, like, I just thank y'all. I thank y'all for inviting me here and being here, because I love the show. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you. We
Word
appreciate
up.
it. You know,
Love to.
appreciate it.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Appreciate it. That's why you one of our day ones.
And also too, that's the reason why we
Yeah.
try to make sure we
And
get
I
some
promise I'm
females
not
on the
picking on
show.
Jamie and Jermaine. I love everyone's perspective.
You know, and Najee, you know what? It's all love and respect, man. You know, you definitely have a place in all of our hearts, man. We went to war together, so to speak. That's how I look at it, man. We came through the trenches, man, and everybody's
Yeah.
doing well, and we live to tell the story. So, shit, you look, it's all love and respect. So, you know,
Yeah, it's definitely respect on my end with everything everybody is doing personally, and I follow it and I put it out there. So, I mean, I love you guys and God bless.
love you back.
Word up.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That was
appreciate
a great way to end the show.
Right.
Great way. On a good note. So we want to thank you again, Najee, for being a part of the show.
Definitely.
Thank you for that feedback. Continue supporting us, spread the word, get us out there. We want to thank all our, listeners, our Quattros, new and old. We thank you for supporting us and continue to support us. If you want to find us, you can catch us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at 4Times Dope Podcast. You can also DM us. You can also hit us up on email at 4timesdopepodcast@gmail.com. And please don't forget, we are accepting sponsors to sponsor an episode of our show. We've had some great ones. If you haven't caught them, go to the very beginning of our shows. You can catch some of the sponsors we had. And if you would like to do that, you can hit us up at 4timesdopepodcast@gmail.com, or you can DM us as well. Also, we got the great 4Times Dope Podcast merchandise. If you ain't got it, you're missing out. You need to get it. You can get it at www.shops2c.com. And that's a wrap.
All right, sounds
All
good.
right.